Hello, it's day 263, and I want to talk about bullying fat people. Yeah, the weather's kinda crappy today, so I figured what better way to spend the day than talking about a really serious and heavy subject. I feel like I circle back to the bullying topic every couple weeks, mostly because it was such a formative part of my life. I was bullied relentlessly for my size when I was a kid. I was a fat girl, and this was the 90s, and there were only two groups that were acceptable to bully in the 90s, and that was members of the queer community and people of a different size. They were acceptable targets. And now that I've grown up, I've become a teacher, and I don't see bullying among my students. However, I'm not naive enough to believe that just because I don't see it means that it's not happening. It absolutely still is. Because when I was a little girl, I remember how the bullies would interact with authority figures. A lot of times they would suck up. They would get in that teacher's good graces so that when a victim went to the teacher and said, "Teacher, Jimmy is being a real asshole to me. What can I do about it?" The teacher would then look at that victim and say, "Jimmy? No way, not Jimmy. Jimmy's a pleasure to have in class. Jimmy gets good grades. Jimmy's obedient. He's charismatic. He's funny. All the other kids love him. What's wrong with you, weird little victim?" And I do keep a really close eye on my students, but I do still understand that I'm on the wrong side of the desk now. There's nothing I can really do about bullying with my students unless I see it directly. And bullies are smart. They know who is a good target, and they also know who is not going to be on their side if something were to come up. My experiences having been bullied as a kid and having to deal with bullies as an adult and protect my students has made me realize that most of the time bullying is not actually about the victim at all. And most of the time bullying isn't really all that noticeable. Like, we're trained to think that bullying happens out in the open, even in our teacher training about how to deal with bullies and how to make a good school environment. We're taught to picture the 80s movie version of bullying, right? One bully, one victim, and a ring of kids surrounding them on the playground going, "Yeah, beat him up," that kind of thing. That never happens. Bullying is a very intimate affair, actually. A small group of mean kids and, maybe one or two victims getting together, having a little clash, and then dispersing. That's how it actually happens. And bullying is used as a form of gaining social currency. Fat kids are really easy targets because when you're a kid, the only way to fit in is through looks, most of the time. You don't have a job, so there's no status there. You don't have a car. You don't own your own house. You're just breaking into the world of dating, maybe. So there's really no, status marriages quite yet. So the only way they can judge you is, how do you look? Are you wearing the right clothes? Does your face look right? Do you have the right haircut? And are you the right size? But even today, bullies are getting a little bit smarter about bullying the fat kids, because it's not quite as acceptable as a target as it used to be, is it? You're starting to see some pushback nowadays, and because of that, you can't just come right out and say, "Hey, put the spoon down, fatty." You have to come at it a little bit more subtle. So you'll hear things like, "Oh my gosh, you've really put on some weight. I'm worried about you. I'm worried about you, Susan. I'm worried you're not going to be around. You're getting awfully heavy. Are you feeling okay? Is everything all right?" That's concern trolling, is what that gets called. And I hate concern trolling. I would rather you tell me, I'd rather you call me a greasy pig than concern troll me, because I'm lucky enough to have had experiences with somebody who was actually concerned about my weight, not just trolling me about my weight, not just pretending to be worried about my weight as a way of making me feel like crap. And that person is, of course, my dad. My dad was such a good, supportive person for me when I was a kid. Oh, I'm getting emotional. My dad would, in college, he would come at me and he would say, "Hey, are you, I know it's final season right now. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you remembering to take time off?" He would say things like, we used to work out together. So he would say, we're ready to up our weights. It's week 2. Are you feeling okay? Are you feeling up to it? That's a person who's actually concerned about your health. The people who are not concerned about your health are the ones who are just trying to make you feel bad for being fat. There is nothing, like, a person's body size is not your business. There is a difference. Some people are actually concerned about your health, and they've been brainwashed into thinking that smaller bodies are healthier bodies. And just like everything, you have to come at it with nuance. If they're actually ignorant and they really do care about you, you should probably give them a pass and just let them know how you're feeling. But you can sense, can't you? You can sense when that energy changes. I was unlucky enough to meet one of my high school bullies in Target the other day. And it was a very Bible Belt kind of interaction. Like, oh, hey, how are you? Wow, I haven't seen you in such a long time. I really was going through some things in high school, and I really apologize for the way I was treating you. I hope you can forgive me. I'm paraphrasing. It took about 15 minutes for her to say that. And part of me wanted to just say, no, I don't forgive you. Like, you made my life a living hell for 8 hours a day, every day, for 4 years. And you think that an apology and I'm sorry is going to fix that? I thought about the things you said endlessly. I was squished. My personality was just disintegrated. I spent my entire 20s trying to figure out what I liked and disliked and like how I felt about the world, because like I thought I was autistic for a while because you just squished my social skills out of me. I carried your voice around for so long that I made myself sick trying to fit a beauty standard that you imposed on me, and you think if I'm sorry is gonna fix it? But I didn't say that, I didn't. I said, yeah, it's in the past, whatever. It's a long way gone. And then we shot the shit for a while. She's married now, she's got kids, and then we were like, oh yeah, we should have lunch together sometime, ha ha ha, knowing damn good and well like we never would. And then she was gone. And I think that's, if you're being bullied right now, and I know that there's a good chance that some people are, I do think that you need to realize that ignoring them doesn't work. Cutting them out of your life is what works. Fighting back doesn't always work. Treating them with disdain is what works. They're just trying to take control of you. If you lose weight for their sake, it's not going to be enough. You can bully either side of the size argument. You're too fat? Man, you're a hog. You're disgusting. What a grease trap you are. You're too skinny? Eat a cheeseburger, you rail. I bet you barf in the bathroom during lunch. You're never going to make them happy. You're never going to make them happy, so stop it. Stop trying. I'm feeling better now that I'm recovering, but I don't think I'll ever fully be better. I think that the only thing I can do right now is look out for the people around me who don't have the kind of social currency required to protect themselves. I'm talking about my students. I'm talking about my coworkers. I'm talking about, just random people at the gym, at my book club. Bullying is very, very silent. It's sneaky. So keep your eyes peeled.